blistering beaches, blubbering Burrowmaster. Can Chris and Zach handle this box office bonanza? This season on Keystone Copycats, we check out the original blockbuster, Jaws.
Hello and welcome to Keystone Copycats with Chris and Zach. I, of course, Mio Zach, and he, of course, the other host.
Tiff and kitten cock. I wasn't prepared. I'm also talking out of a can.
Did you just say kitten cock?
You've never heard that, have you? Like, no one's ever said kitten cock.
No.
Because they're so dainty. Like, you don't think of a cock.
No. I'd say
you think
kitten
of, like,
phallus.
what do you even call it? Like, kitten's penis? Like, the penis?
You call it a hog.
No. See,
hog.
That's the opposite direction, too. It's got to be more dainty. It's got to be like a kitten knit.
No, it's a delicate little kitten hog.
It's got to be like a fish stick, because they like fish.
Uh-huh.
Like if you were at a kitten bar and they're serving milk out of saucers, you'd be like, hey, kitty, you want to see my fish stick?
Uh-huh. What? No.
Yeah.
Because then that would imply that like the kitten was going to eat your penis.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're all wasted.
Which I'm not interested in at all.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen that, and I think I want to drop the topic, actually, because it's so disgusting.
Well, this is week 2 of you bringing up animal penises.
Yeah.
So.
I just want to catch them all. I mean, not physically.
Oh, no.
Not physically.
Who's throwing them to you? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, they, if you guys, if our audience has noticed any difference this week, I am mobile. I've gone mobile like Bane. And I'm actually, we're actually recording from Kentucky. So I'm out in the boonies right now, which is why it probably sounds so good.
Yeah, it sounds really good. Here's my favorite thing that happened today. I let you know, hey, I'm ready. I can do whenever you're ready. And you said, hang on, the woods are on fire.
Yeah. Someone with a truck drove by and set my woods on fire. And I was like, well, hang on, we got to postpone because I need to go out and shoot somebody because they just committed arson on my property. And I can't because it turns out I'm fucking related to the person. And even worse, I guess he got a permit to burn. So I'm like, God damn it. I was like, but I don't think that means set the actual woods on fire because there was some brush by the woods and the trees are on fire. And I'm like, that doesn't seem legit. But I'm like, okay, I mean, just fuck it. So honestly, I kind of went out for a second and came back in, and now we're recording. And I can see the smoke. Like the woods are just on fire right now.
I'm gonna need a video.
I guess we're doing a justified control burn or something. What's that?
I said I'm gonna need a video of this at some point.
I got one. It's me going, these fucking jackasses. It's like in the video. Oh yeah, it's a real thing.
Oh, perfect.
So anyway, I hope it all goes well because I went out there and yelled at them and then told them to burn more because I do actually need some of it burned. So I basically went out to yell instructions like a foreman and then came back in to drink my coffee.
That's what being an adult is, right?
Yeah, yelling at people, yeah.
Yeah, yelling at people and then realizing that you need them to do something and just adding it to the yelling.
Yeah. I had an old manager or an old supervisor, and, like, he held the fucking license for the company. He was, like, high up. Like, it was definitely someone you don't want to fuck with, and he just hated me so much. And he'd kind of talk like Jack Nicholson. I'm not even stretching it. He'd come out and go, oh, there he is. There's Poland. Like, he'd say my name like that. He'd be like, fucking Poland. And everyone would do the voice. And they'd walk around going, fucking Poland. and I remember one time, I guess he loved the idea of throwing me out so much. Like, we were in a fight, and I was in his doorway. And I was literally yelling. I said, it's really hard to get anywhere around here when all these old fucks withhold information and fuck over younger guys. Like, it was pretty bold of me to say in the office. And he goes, you know what, Pullman, get the fuck out of my office. So I walk away, and I go, this is just fucking bullshit. And he goes, hang on. All right, come here. So we start talking again, and within 30 seconds, he goes, you know what, get the fuck out of my office. And there were people there, and I walked out. And I wasn't mad anymore. I just kind of gave the thumbs backwards. I said, I think he just pulled me back in to throw me out again. And they're like, yeah, it definitely seemed like he did that. Like, it felt so good for him. He had to give it another go.
He's like, oh, that was awesome. Hey, come on back. We'll do it again.
I was not in there for more than a minute before I got thrown out again. And it had escalated pretty quickly from when he said, okay, let's figure this out together, to get the fuck out.
I like this character.
I swear to God, anyone that knows him, I'm not going to name drop him. But even though apparently he was retired, so I'm probably safe at this point. He was the same guy that was like, I'll be fucking dead before I sponsor you to be a real licensed plumber. It was so dramatic. I'm like, God damn, dude. I'm like, that dude does not like me.
Why don't you relax, guy?
He's like, I'll be fucking dead in the ground. He would emphasize it. Fucking dead.
I like it. This guy sounds like he was played by Nick Cage.
If they ever do a live action movie. And the worst part is he had this giant 1980s mustache, like a handlebar that went all the way down like to almost touching his neck. Like, and it was just mustache. Like, we had a rule that he couldn't grow a beard, so he's like, oh, this isn't a beard. This is the longest mustache in the world.
Oh, man.
That's great.
Well,
he looks perfect.
You've lived a life, haven't you?
What have you been doing?
Nothing.
Did anyone set your woods on fire and then kick you out of the office?
No, I had like a big job that I did that like ended in January. I sent in my invoice, and I waited because they've got 30 days to pay it, you know. And I reached out after 30 days and I said, hey, just haven't gotten a check yet. Just wanted to see if it's in the mail or if I should just come by and pick it up. And the response was, oh, I forgot to submit that. I'll do it now. And I was like, fuck. And
I mean, at least they admitted it and they weren't like, oh, I'm pretty sure we paid you.
No. It was cool. I was happy about that. Like, I'm going to get my check this week, which is great. But like, also, like, my wife has been like badgering me for the entire month. Like, where's that check? You got to say something. And I'm like, they have 30 days. I'm not going to say something before 30 days. And if I had, I would have had my check a long time ago.
I like to think that she just doesn't trust you, that she thinks that you just like withhold under your money and you're just like, I don't know, man. Like,
no.
Really you just keep coming in with like faux mink coats.
No, she did
I wish I had that money.
She did keep giving me a hard time. Like, it was like, a week out, she's like, it's been a month. And I'm like, no, it hasn't. Like, she just kept acting like it had been so much longer than it was. And I'm like, look, dude, like, I don't know what to tell you. Dude,
why are you holding out?
I don't know.
Give us the fucking money. I have a feeling that you're not going to see a nickel of that money.
No, it's all going to pay my credit card bills.
Ah, that's how they get you.
Yep, that's it.
That's how the credit card gets you. They make you pay them back.
Oh, come on.
I was talking to a customer the other day, and I was talking about how this one guy messed up a foundation, and he went bankrupt over it. It was really sad because obviously the guy's intention wasn't to fuck up the foundation, but it happened when he was running equipment by it and cracked it. I mean, so it is what it is. And it's about how fast you can like have to file for bankruptcy. And then I was kind of thinking about how we live and the whole economic collapse and whatever. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should time this just right to buy a bunch of shit and then go bankrupt and just keep it. I'm like, they can't take it all back.
I think they can, but
no, not if it's like good. Like if I bought like a shit ton of food and then buried it. I mean, I'd have to like waterproof it first or some shit. But if I buried it in the ground, I'm like, well, come get it. I live in Kentucky. I could just put like a "Don't Tread on Me" flag out, and then I'd have all my neighbors support. They'd be like, yeah, man, like get off of shit.
That's true.
I need more "Don't Tread on Me" shirts. I wear a medium. So any listeners out there who want to send me "Don't Tread on Me" shirts, I promise I will wear them and take photos and send that to you. So please get me a Don't Tread on Me shirt, and I will make sure I wear it on the air so Zach has to look at it. Because I don't know if you know this about shirts, I can't even see them when I'm wearing them.
So
Zach has to see them.
if
So it's Don't Tread on Me at Chris.com. Also buy that domain name.
Yeah. He also, if anyone sends him a "Please Tread on Me, Daddy" shirt, he'll wear that too.
I also wear that underneath it. Says secretly tread on me. But yeah, there's an idea. A shirt that says secretly tread on me, Daddy.
I mean, there is the "Don't Tread on Me, Daddy" shirt.
Yeah, but is it secretly? That's the
part.
Yeah.
That's the change that you're making here.
Do you want to go into? I realize we need to start getting rid of these. You want to do impromptu Oops All story?
Yeah, let's do some stories.
Well, I just got the one. I already turned off my phone because there was a couple more in there. But I have one, and it's Kroger brand pot roast crunch.
Pot roast crunch?
Pot roast crunch.
What is that?
That's the Oops.
You don't know what it is?
I don't know.
Pot roast crunch
is like a dinner. It's like a meal.
Right. So is this like a
stew?
Well, no, it's not a stew. Is this like a
pot roast is kind of a stew.
I mean, there's like a gravy-ish element to it.
Okay. Well, there it is. Pot roast. Then you add the crunch.
No.
Which I guess.
I think it's like a jerky kind of thing. It's pot roast jerky.
No, because that's like more chewy and tough. I wouldn't describe it as crunch. No, I think you take the the crunch of the Raisin Bran crunch, and you put it in the pot roast, and then it's like no longer. Yeah. Well, I didn't make it up. Like, it's fucking clearly a thing. We just got to figure out how to sell it.
Okay.
You get a free T-shirt with it. Seriously, Daddy. Tread on me.
I hate it.
I think that wasn't it though. I like that. Seriously, Daddy, tread on me.
Seriously,
that's way more direct.
Tread on me.
That's when you got that big old supervisor mustache.
Oh hell yeah! I'm growing one out right now. You know,
I think Kroger brand. Also a Kroger brand. It can't there is no real version of it. Yeah. It's only the Kroger brand that is in reality.
And it's not even like Private Select. It's Kroger. Like it doesn't.
Let's just make it, okay, guys, knock off the jokes. We actually need to get this on the market. What do you do? I think it's just pot roast with with croutons.
Yeah, I was going to say the crunch, it can't be the granola because that's too that doesn't work. But I think it is croutons. I think that's it.
Yeah, but then they would get soggy. You know what it has to be, and this is sad. You know, like stovetop stuffing, how it's all dry? Mm-hmm. I think it's like the potatoes and the meat and the bread, but all with no, moisture in it. And you got to put it in a bowl with a little bit of milk or water, like oatmeal, and then you can microwave it. That's pot roast crunch. Ugh. You in?
And then you drizzle the stovetop stuffing on top at the end.
I don't think anyone's ever drizzled stuffing. I think it's impossible to drizzle stuffing. At the most, it would be like clump the stuffing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to come out in a small amount.
You could drizzle it if you want.
I don't think that's the word you use.
No, that's what I use.
That's
okay, how about if we
dazzle softly use that bulldozer? It just ain't going to work.
Uh-huh. Am I?
You never softly use the bulldozer to scratch your lover's back?
Yeah. You never used an excavator to open a can of soda? Come on.
Oh, my goodness.
I've seen many
I was going to tell a story,
videos.
but it's not entertaining enough. So I'm going to move on to my next topic.
Okay.
I went through a Burger King drive-thru, and it took too long. So I went to the counter, and that took even longer. But I found out that they've gone overboard, and this is going to seem insane from a guy like me. They have a quad burger, like 4 patties.
Yeah, that's too much.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's as tall as it's as wide as it is tall kind of
thing.
It's
a cube.
And I'm like, you know what? You've lost me. Like, it's just, I thought I wanted it, and then I saw it, and I'm like, no, we're going to die. Like, you've got to stop.
You thought, ooh, quad burger. That way I won't have to eat
Like
two
if you
double
saw
burgers.
like a Monster Energy or a Red Bull and it said now with actual jet fuel, you're like, you guys got to stop.
Yeah.
Like it was just a joke. You're taking this too far.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't mind if a lot of people started drinking jet fuel. I think it would solve some of my problems.
I mean, I think your woods would be way more likely to be on fire more often.
Jesus, it would just be peeing fire.
Yeah.
Speaking of miscellaneous things to do out of your property, I dug a 5 foot. Yesterday, I dug a 5 foot hole straight down, and everyone was talking about how it looked crazy, like it looked like a mole had dug it. And my wife was like, "Well, now I know that you would have no problem getting rid of my body. I think
That's right.
you just kick me down in that hole." And I responded adoringly, like a husband should. I said, "Oh, you don't need a deep hole with you. I would just dissolve the body." I don't think she was ready for the quaint little, "Oh no, make sure I'm going to say something so you can refer back that you actually love me and would never do it." And I went the other way. I said, "Oh, they would never find you, ever.
Oh, Jesus.
You wouldn't even be in memories. That's how liquidated you."
Well, this recording will help out later on your trial.
No, see, now that I've said it, I won't do it because I'm like, oh, I did confess.
Now that I put it out there, I can't.
But now I hope she never goes missing because, oh man, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, you hope she never Gone Girls you.
Oh man, that movie was. If you've never seen Gone Girl, just don't.
Oh, it's good. I like it. I recommend.
Mean. I know she's mean. I'm not saying it's not a good movie or the story isn't well done or shot well because I believe it is. And I love Ben Affleck, but man, that girl was naughty.
I don't know that's a little reductive to the story, saying, "Man, that girl was naughty." I don't know that really sells it. Huh.
Well, then she tricks her old boyfriend.
Well, is she or isn't she naughty?
Her? That was naughty. That was not a good thing. You know what I do? I'd kick her on out. I'd say, "Hey, naughty girl." Get on. That voice does not lend well to naughty girl.
Speaking?
"Hey, naughty girl, get out of my office.
Get the fuck out of my arm." I like it.
Can you imagine? I was there for 7 years. Can you imagine every morning? Because it was the first one there, and I was normally the second or third. Every morning for 7 years, "Hey, Pooh," and that's the start of your day. I know now why I was so cranky all the time. Haunting me.
I want to call you every morning now and say that.
And he would just do the old man thing where he'd go out and put his knuckles on his hips and look out the window and go, "Oh." Get people pulled in. Like, I've never seen anyone hate their job more than that man. Like out loud hate their job. Just macaroni like, "Ugh."
I like that.
Oh.
Feels like the sound. Feels like the sound you would make if you were pushing the air out of like an inflatable, like just the very end.
Yeah.
Oh
like when they're dehydrating the pot roast crunch. That's the sound.
So my daughter recently found a whoopee cushion down in the basement, and she is losing her mind over it. She just loves it so much. She just sits on it and just goes, "Daddy, I'm farting. Did you hear me farting?" It's so fucking perfect. I love it.
And my son Andy is past the age of the intense whoopee cushion humor, but there was a time when he had the reinflatable one where it was just like all the time that I'm like, I can't wait till that thing pops. Like, I've got to stop this. It's so much all the time. You can't think this is that funny every fucking time.
Well, there was two, and one of them popped almost immediately, and then the other one she keeps she's managed to maintain, but she thinks it's the funniest shit ever. And it's not like she's she hasn't reached the sophistication level of I'm gonna sneak this on someone's chair and it'll seem like they farted. No, she just wants to sit on it and make the fart sound and laugh and yell about how she's farting.
Yeah, I remember thinking that we got the reinflatable one because we had one that you had to blow into it. And I'm like, well, this is exhausting. I'd rather get the other one. But there was actually a mistake because then it just keeps going forever. At least the other one you can say, okay, I'm done. Like,
no, I'm not doing this
I'm
anymore.
done breathing into this fucking whoopee cushion. This very tasteful whoopee cushion.
This high-class whoopee cushion.
I'm just saying, like, the taste, it was immense. It was like sucking on a million rubber bands.
And it's like it's full of weird dust. You're like, what the fuck
how?
is this?
Like, how is it full of dust?
Why
is that my dust that I breathed in there? Am I full of dust?
Who powdered this thing? I don't get it. So weird.
Yeah, it's the tooth fairy's second job. She goes in and does
She grinds up teeth and covers whoopee cushions.
Yeah. Now you're full of calcium.
One of them.
Thanks, calcium.
One of them. Like, I forget, someone sat on it and big fart sound, but like a gush of like dust flew out, and I was like, holy shit, this is insane.
Yeah.
Good old whoopee cushions.
Well, I just realized that I don't have a clock. I have no idea how long we've been talking.
Like 5 minutes.
You tell me what you need from me, because I got a couple more we need to stress this, because I'm very vulnerable right now out in the, that are on fire.
Let's talk a little bit about why you're on the phone, which is you literally told me we're out of internet.
Oh, I'm out of internet.
Which I really like.
Yes. No, I don't know. Sometimes being in the country, not even just Kentucky, just being in the country is like entering a different universe.
Yeah.
Where things are so different, and I'm only 2 hours away, and things are so different that I don't even know how they could be that different when we have communication that close. But I guess that's the problem, is we don't have the communication because no one's actually talking to each other because we have such limited internet. Like, when I moved out here, I'm like, I don't understand because everyone's stuff works but me, and I figured that's the Truman Show thing of my life.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm contagious, and then other people's shit stopped working too. So internet was fine. I moved here, then it's not fine, and everyone's things go down. So I'm like, maybe I just draw a heavy current.
There's something wrong with you.
I'm just sucking the life of all electronics and people around wherever I go. But my son's phone is normally fine. So I guess we're just using too much gigawatts, or I don't know what the hell it is.
Okay, Doc Brown.
Too much data. So we found one, and they're like, okay, this will give you like half more, but it's $300 a month.
Yeah, that's
and
insane.
You have to find a membership. I'm like, that's not worth it. I said, so there's the solution. No. Too expensive because we don't have, like, we're out in the country. We have a tree blocking the satellite for our internet, and we don't have like any fucking wires coming through here for like an Ethernet cable. So like we just don't have it. It just doesn't exist. But we just kind of get spotty internet, and you have to pay a lot if you want a stronger signal. So we just don't do that. So randomly throughout the month, our internet just starts, and I don't think we have a day that it starts. It's not like 15th or 30th like anyone else. So like it starts on the 7th, and then sometimes you're like, "What's the 7th?" And then it's like, "Oh no, it's the 9th." And I'm like, "Well, hang on, like that's not," because we started writing it down and it was changing. They said, "Well, when you did the trial thing, it restarted your date." This happened 3 times.
That's so weird.
So I'm like, "Okay, well, do you just let us know? I guess we'll just fucking wing it." And I was telling you, it's like a reality show where it's like, you know, like all the contestants don't know what's going to happen, and then it's just, you know, the cage doors open and just like, okay, go live a normal life. And like, let's see if anyone notices. Like, so that's,
see if you can.
That's kind of what it's like. That's why it's so difficult sometimes to watch the movies, because I'm like, I don't know. Like a lot of times I just watch I do the safe thing and I watch the movie on my phone when I leave the property, like on the way to Cincinnati. And that's when I watch movies and take notes, is in the car while I'm driving on country roads. That's the safest way to do it. That's the only time I can watch movies sometimes, because if I don't watch it during business hours when there's stronger internet, the internet runs out.
Yeah.
Like a time glass. Like every morning the timer starts and you use it all up.
Yeah. I do think that we should mention that you don't live 2 hours from any city, just 2 hours from my city.
I live 2 hours from any city.
No, you live 20 minutes from Lexington.
No, it's 45 minutes from Lexington.
Is it really? I've never done it.
It's farther than I thought it was.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's fair.
We are like we're 20 minutes from Walmart. So if you want to go to civilization, it's Walmart.
Walmart is
so there
not
you
civilization.
go. I mean, that kind of tells the story of what's going on out here.
Yeah, but they
Well,
won't.
good for Walmart. They really were like, you know what, fuck it. We don't need a city. You got a Walmart.
Yeah, but they won't let you have any butter, thanks to Rocco.
Yeah, 10 minutes away there is the city of Paris, and that's a street. And there's a lot of it's got really nice historical buildings down there.
Quaint little town.
Yeah, and actually, I don't think I've told anyone this. We actually have a bid to buy a historic bank downtown, and it's probably going through. So I got a call from my brother-in-law, and he was like, "Hey, you want to buy a bank?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." He goes, "Okay."
For
and
what?
Hangs up, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't know."
Wait,
I thought
hang on. You're buying a building or you're buying a bank?
Yeah, both.
No. Is it like you're buying the business, or are you just buying the building that the bank used to be in?
No, but it's got a contract in it.
Okay.
So I can walk in the bank. Is what I'm saying. Like it's mine. I'm going in there.
Interesting.
Anyway, we got a bid, and he was like, "Hey, you want to buy a bank?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then I made jokes about real world monopoly, and then he called back and said, "Okay, well, here's the letter of intent." And I was like, "Oh shit, I didn't know."
Oh, for real? Oh, we're doing this.
Yeah, so I didn't know. So here's the fun part. It's a bunch of old bankers. It's a vice president of a bank and the president of a bank and a ex president of a bank and Chris. Like it all just. I'm like, there's no way, and I'm not going to be the janitor. Like this is definitely a Fall Guy scenario where they're like, and then when the feds come in, we'll just say, "Hey, that guy owns the building," and I'll be mopping the floor. And I'll be like, "Hello," like, you just cuff me and take me out.
You'll be solving like a math problem someone left on a whiteboard.
Yeah, there's no way. And here's the thing: it's like we drove by it, and I'm like, "No, we're not really going to buy that building. That's a really nice building." Like, I'm like, "I'm not going to own that building." And they're like, "Oh yeah, it's going through." I was like, "Huh? Well, how do you like that?"
This is like
I really am just Forrest Gumping my way through situations.
No, this is a situation where someone was like, well, I mean, we couldn't buy that building with a horse as a partner, but like we'll get close.
Yeah, like so I guess we find out here in a couple of weeks if it actually like goes through, but apparently we're the highest bid. I'm like, oh, that's good. Once again, like Forrest Gump. Well, that's good. One less thing. I'm just like, that's good that we put the most money in, because that means we might get.
I'm going to get you a shirt that says I own a bank. Like,
yeah, seriously, Daddy, I own the bank.
Tread on my bank, Daddy.
Yeah, but like I'm really glad, like if this does go through, this is why I'm glad that I quit drinking, because I'm like, there would be nothing but chaos and arrest and arson.
You could not survive.
If I had the keys to a bank and was wasted, I'm like, so it's a good thing that I'm like, yeah, that I'm good and sober, because I'm like, okay, even I know, don't go in that bank, even though I'm like at night, even though I'm constantly like, I could probably steal money from that bank.
I think if you still drank and just lived down there, it would be a problem. You'd be stealing horses left and right. Like,
I really do. For as scared as I am of horses, I really have the instinct to get on them.
Well, yeah.
Because like you want to sneak up and be like, ha! Like I'm on your back, and you ride off like a
jump up on the back, like do that, like leapfrog up on the back.
Yeah, I just feel like I would get too confident about it. I would do it a couple times, and then I'd run up from behind to do the Native American leap on it, and it would just kick me with full force.
Yeah. And
then I'd transform into another universe where there's internet.
Oh, no, you're not getting internet.
Yeah, I think that's how you get the internet, is you know, like there's horsepower in a car, there's horsepower in the internet, so you got to conduct that power by getting kicked in the chest. I don't know much science.
Well, that is true. But you want to know an interesting fact that I recently learned?
Yeah.
One horse can have up to 15 horsepower.
Yeah, that was I knew that. I found that out. I didn't know it was 15, but I thought it was like 7, and I said that doesn't make sense.
No. It's stupid. Why is it called horsepower if a horse isn't one? Isn't that the point? I didn't like that at all. And even if they wanted to say, well, like
horsepower is measured in one adult horse, so it doesn't have the horsepower until it's an adult. Yeah, okay, I mean, I totally get that. I can follow that from the get-go.
Do you think
this horse has 0.7 horsepower because it's smaller? Got it. You cannot go more than 1 horsepower.
Do you think the horse that they measured to determine horsepower was just this weak-ass horse?
And and you know what? Like, even the Bush Beer sleigh horses, you know, like the Clydesdale, like, even if they're like, okay, but that's 1.2 because it's a big horse, I'd be like, oh, no, I mean, like, yeah, that's a pretty fucking big horse.
That's like 5 horsepower.
Yeah, I mean, you give that a little more.
5.
But any more than 2, I'm like, no, that's wrong. It's a wrong unit of measurement.
And to say up to 15 is insane. That's if it said up to 5, you'd be like, okay, maybe. But 15 is like, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, because to the naked eye, there's not much difference to a horse. Like a manpower, if you like have a regular guy and then like I don't know, like a mean, you know, an angry man contest winner or whatever the hell that's called, strongman contest. You're like, oh yeah, that's 3 manpower. Like, he's strong, but you're like, yeah, you can tell he's real strong.
This horses man strong like 3 man.
Yeah, horses are all the same. I'm sorry I had to break it so publicly. They all look the same.
Breaking news, podcast host, horse racist.
Speaking of ponies, my sister and I watched Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Prince of Thieves, and could not stop laughing. But we noticed that, I know that the horse was white, but when Robin Hood jumps on Alan Rickman's horse, everyone goes, he's stealing the sheriff's horse. But then he gets back to the forest where all these guys don't know anything, and they're like, you stole the sheriff's horse? And I was like, how does everyone know that it's the sheriff's horse? I know it's white and everything, but no one, like, they can't be that rare that there's a fucking white horse. And I came up with a joke that there's going to be a license plate on the back that says Sheriff 1. How much better would that movie be if there was a Sheriff 1 license plate on that?
I thought
horse?
The horse maybe had like a badge.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a sheriff.
Like a sheriff badge.
Yeah, but also on the ass.
Well, yeah, everything on a horse is on the ass.
If you haven't watched that movie lately, you've got to watch that movie. I love everything about it. Right down to everyone's got such a thick accent. Sean Connery is the king at the end. He comes in with a big Scottish accent, so you're like, fuck it, who gives a shit? The only one who doesn't have the accent is the lead. Kevin Costner is the lead Englishman, and he's like, I'm doing it. I got
I'm English as fuck. Hang on.
Everyone's doing an accent. Morgan Freeman he's trying to do an Arabic accent. Like, it all makes sense. Christian Slater has a great accent. Kevin Costner, like, I got this.
No, it's because they're all actors, and he's Kevin Costner.
And that is the hardest mullet because of the shape of Kevin Costner's head. Someone should have told him a long time ago, you can't do the mullet because you got a Garth Brooks-shaped head, bro. Like, it's not going to look good.
That head is built for a mullet.
It's not. It's Absolutely. Really not. You see a mullet, and you're like, ooh. Then you see his mullet, and you're like, bro, what's up with your head? Like, why is it shaped like a ski slope on the back? He's not an unattractive man, but in that movie, he's not looking great.
Oh, no, man, I love it. I'm looking at it right now. And here's the thing. It doesn't look like a super intentional mullet. It looks like his hair just got away from him. You know?
Here's the problem that I have, is the opening is when he's in that prison. And he's got the beard and all the things. So I'm like, oh, no, he chose that haircut. He went to a tailor or whatever, was like, cut my hair. They're like, I got just the thing. It's not grown out. That's the big problem with it, is he just got a haircut. He chose that look. He's like, what's that Matt Damon cut from that movie where that helmet can't go anywhere? I want that.
Yeah.
He's like, I need the support under my helmet that I never once wear.
Man, that was a good movie.
Yeah, we should watch that again. You talking about Kevin Costner's Robin Hood?
No. I haven't seen that movie in 15 years.
Oh, you'll love it. You'll love the witch. You'll love the witch. Also, yeah, there's a witch that runs around the castle going...
There better be a witch.
Is scurrying around the castle with her one wide eye going...
I only watch movies with witches. Speaking of which...
Alan Rickman just destroys that role. You're just like, I love every second of him being on the screen. He's so big in that as that character.
So did we watch a movie this week?
We did, Zach. We did.
Did we watch Independence Day from 1996, directed
We watched
by
the
Roland
original
Emmerich?
Independence Day. We did not watch the versions.
Starring Will Smith, Jeff Goldblum, Bill Pullman, Vivica Fox, Randy Quaid, Judd Hirsch. This cast, my friend.
Yeah.
Stacked.
Yeah. It's also got Kevin Arnold's dad from Wonder Years.
Yeah. Also known as Al Gammarino.
It looks like him. It looks like.
I've described. So Al Gammarino was a youth sport coach that we both had as a child.
I like to think he was a sports character we invented.
He's an insane character, but he's
a slumlord, is what he is.
He also.
But I like that we're really dropping this fucker's name. Like, fuck this guy.
I wasn't gonna say slumlord, because we'll probably get sued.
He is.
But I described him to my wife, who's never seen him, as the dad from the Wonder Years mixed with Eugene Levy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the perfect.
That's it. Imagine that. It's perfect.
Yeah, that's and you got him. He threatened to throw my car keys in the sewer because I was trying to save gas by letting the truck run. I heard that you said 10 minutes worth of gas starting it, and he came in to tell me that my car was running. I said, "Oh, I know." He goes, "Well, a guy like me would take your keys out and throw them in the sewer." And I'm like, "Oh God, like, well, how aggressive? Please don't do that."
You're like, "Thank God there aren't more guys like you."
Yeah. Came in just to hassle me.
All right, let's talk about Independence Day. You got a synopsis for me?
Yeah. When alien invaders lay waste to the planet Earth, it's up to a select group of survivors to upload a floppy disk Taco Bell virus.
Taco Bell virus.
That's what it is.
What was the Taco Bell virus from?
The Taco Bell virus was what I got.
Day?
In lieu of a toy, I think Taco Bell was handing out floppy disk virus, and that's what I put on my parents' computer. And then my dad thought we had a real virus because it said uploading the virus almost complete.
Yes. I remember you told this story. I don't remember which episode, but you told this story. And I really loved it.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it said. And it was never going to be complete because obviously you had to get the other floppy disk to complete it. But that's all it would pop up when you click the thing, like the app or whatever. But the virus almost completely installed. And we found out that we don't know if it was actually Taco Bell. I was obsessed with Taco Bell at the time because I couldn't get it. So I just somehow latched onto Taco Bell at the time. So I don't know where I got the virus, but I think it was Taco Bell. But maybe not. Anyway, it's a good movie. I don't know if you've ever seen. Is there any person who's not seen Independence Day? Like, this is kind of like Jurassic Park. Like, everyone has seen this movie, right?
Yeah, I think so. I watched this movie with my wife, and she, when it was over, she said, "I remembered this movie being like legitimately great," and the way that she described it. She gave a one-word review when it was over. She said it was goobery. Well,
I mean, I guess we can't help it that you married a stupid idiot. Because that's not how I would agree with this movie. No, what I was going to say is it's weird because it's not the exact feelings I got as a kid, like when I watched that Baywatch episode. But watching it again, I remember pure anxiety and terror when that music would hit with the spaceship when it was coming over the city. Like, and this is insane. Like, when they opened up to shoot the first place, I remember feeling scared. Like, oh my God, this is actually happening. That's how powerful this movie was when it was first released.
And you still felt that way when you watched it?
I felt a little safer because I'm not by a major city, as we've established. Like, if they wanted to get to Walmart, I still got 20 minutes of run time.
Yeah.
To get out of there.
If they accidentally went to Paris, Kentucky instead of Paris, France.
Yeah, that's the only thing I got to worry about, because then I got to be like, all right, well, I guess we're going to collect the insurance money on my bank.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is because I'm not really involved as a mop here.
I just put in some money and mop.
Yeah. I'm like, how much money do I get of the, like my contribution, by the way, was, hey, I heard that like ATMs, when you put them in, like you get a cut of it. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, so we should put it in an ATM. And they're like, yeah, I mean, there's going to be them. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Hell yeah.
My contribution was the most basic thing that was built into a bank. That they're like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, good, we're gonna make some fucking money.
Your contribution to the investment is what's known as squeegee equity.
Because I'm like, there's so there's the fee of $3 per use. I was like, what's $3 if I get 4 people? I'm like, oh, that's some sweet cash.
You're like, I'm getting my 78 cents.
Ding ding, money hit the account, baby. Don't go buy me an IGA soda pop.
There you go.
But no, I mean, yeah, I disagree with your wife. That like, I think that this movie is definitely silly now, but I think it's a fucking blockbuster. Like when you watch it, you're like, ooh, Independence Day is on.
So she said to me, I remember this movie being great when I watched it when I was a kid, and I looked at her and said, and it still is. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, there's parts in the beginning, like it's building like I said, the anxiety. Just the sheer delivery of those extras, we're getting a reading. It doesn't make sense. It's coming from the moon, and you're like, whoa, like it's close. And then just that one guy who's like, sir, he goes, I don't know how to say this, but you know, he goes, we've lost track. It's not moving at the same speed. He goes, what do you mean? And he goes, it's slowing down. And you're like, oh, like, they're coming. Yeah, it's fucking insane. I don't know how to explain it. Like, just a subtle delivery. You're like, this is fucking good. Like, the anticipation is here. We have this.
I feel like, and you can disagree with me on this if you want, but I think that for this episode, we really should have had Sarah Davis on.
Yeah.
It really feels like we should have.
No, I'm fine. I like Sarah. She's a funny cat.
She is a funny cat.
She's a funny cat cock.
No, stop it. I think that like speaking of Sarah Davis, I think that this movie is like the perfect blend between Armageddon and Deep Impact. Like it has the serious, the more serious stuff. I could see that if you were like, okay, if you're like, we need one movie to live between Armageddon and Deep Impact, I could see why you'd go, well, I guess it would be Independence Day. I wouldn't go out of my way to say this movie is like those two. I would say if there was a movie between it, it would be this. Does that make sense? Yeah. No, I get that.
But yeah, I think it lives between those worlds. But you know what's funny is I bought this movie before. Like Amazon fucked me. It said it was on the thing and I couldn't find it. It was like no results came up, and I'm like, I don't think no results came up because normally give me recommendations. I'm pretty sure you're just fucking with me right now.
Yeah.
I had to buy it again because I bought it and it's gone. So I had to buy it, but I'm like, well, if I'm going to buy it, I'm going to get the extended edition. Have you ever seen the extended edition?
No. What did they add?
Not a lot. A lot of 45-second like interludes where it's information that's completely needless. Like when the two strippers are talking, like Vivian A. Fox and then that her helper stripper or whatever she is, she's like, don't go down there. The aliens are going to be dangerous. She goes, this is like that one time when you went to Vegas and lost all your money. And she's like, yeah. And you're like, wait, what? Like, what? How was that in there?
Yeah, I don't want to lose all my money to the aliens. Wow.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay. I mean, I kind of get it. And then there's one where David's talking about cracking the code. He's like, David, look, we got to learn about the aliens. Like that actor. He's like, David. He goes, what are we going to do? And then David's like, hang on, I figured out the code. I said, it's relaying off itself because that way I can correct it. And then the guy's like, and we could be the only cable network in town with a signal? Yes, David! Like, and he's like that, and I'm like, oh, I mean, like, okay. I don't know why that was in there. Like,
I really like you doing this guy's voice.
That's what he sounds like. It's the same character from Mrs. Doubtfire. Like, it's a gay uncle. Like, that's him.
David.
Like, that's all he's doing the whole movie. Why did I say my mother to Antarctica? David! Yeah,
I like the anti-lawyer joke where he's like, I gotta call
Yeah. No, I laugh.
I gotta call my lawyer. Well, maybe not my
I
lawyer.
was my lawyer. Yeah, no, that's still. I knew it was coming. I'm like, I love that. That's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the extended edition stuff is all like, this is not at all needed. Like, there was a part where David and his dad are driving to Washington, and he drives in the wrong lane, like on the oncoming traffic, and like he swerves off, and he's like, "Oh, that was close." And David's like, "Yeah, maybe I should have drove." And you're like, oh, I mean, okay.
All right.
Why? Like, why in the fuck was that on there? It serves no purpose to
For the
story.
extent, it's a joke. It's hilarious. For the extended edition, were there a lot more aliens making cat noises?
No, I can't even remember. There was some stuff in Area 51, and you're like, man, of all the extras you could have put in Area 51 where like something exciting is going along, like an animatronic, or like they have like a cyborg alien that they created. It's like just nothing. It's more of the staff in the staff room start going like, this is crazy. Like, this is nutty that these aliens are now here.
They're like, did a
I
cat
always
get
thought they
in?
weren't, now they're here.
I think we need to focus on the cat sounds.
What do you
Every
mean?
time the aliens move or like they get hit, you hear like,
Yeah, they're controlled by cats. There was a bonus part where inside the alien was a cat. So it's a cat controlling the alien controlling the suit.
that makes sense now. Okay. I feel good.
Hey, why did the alien have slider eyes? Like their spaceships, you know, like the panel shuts from the middle like a Lucas wipe.
I think that I don't think that it's like crazy to think that like they would design their ships in a way that's like similar to how their like anatomy works. Like people do that kind of dumb bullshit.
No, what I'm saying is they had a metal eyelid wipe. Like didn't look organic. It looked like a metal barrier.
Are you saying it looked alien?
It looked foreign to me. No, it was like reflective. I'm like, that's just a piece of metal.
No, it's cool.
I'm like I totally get it. Like, you know, like I loved in
it was a pair of blue blockers.
And in Black, how his eyes shut from the side. I'm like, that's interesting. Or like Futurama, like Leela's dad. That's good. The way they did it, I'm like, okay, that's just not. It doesn't look correct. Like, it looks like it's just a fuck up.
I mean, we just disagree because I thought it looked badass.
I mean, that's okay. I can't argue with those words. All right.
I'm sorry. That's the winning argument.
What do you think you would do? Like, if the aliens are coming in real life, what do you do?
Drive to your house, set your woods on fire. I don't know.
Oh, that's already done. Yeah, that'd be a repeat.
Too late.
I mean, I get everyone just panics and gets their groceries or like whatever. Like,
Well, no, that's the thing though. I go to your house. I drive to your house because you live in the middle of fucking nowhere. So
no,
they're
don't
not going to hit you.
Bother me.
No, I'm going to bother you.
No, you guys did this to them. Don't fucking bring it here. I was minding my own business.
You guys, I'm nice to cats.
Yeah, here's the thing. I wouldn't even notice because I don't even have the internet.
Yeah, you're out of internet.
I wouldn't even notice the cable was blocked. I'd be like, oh, something's going on, and then they would take forever. Like, they wouldn't even come over my city. They wouldn't even come over my house and blow me up. Like, I wouldn't know until there was the infantry on the planet. That shit was going on.
Yeah, you wouldn't know until after Bill Pullman gave his speech and Randy Quaid fucking flew up that spaceship's butthole.
I wouldn't know till they were all defeated because this happens in like 36 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 3 days because it does show the days.
Yeah, 72
hours. If that happens in 72 hours, I would have missed it.
Yeah, for sure. You'd be fighting with the Amish about like them trying to deliver your third cabin that you didn't order.
Yeah, I should have taken that cabin, by the way.
Yeah.
But I love how when you first see the spaceships, how it's just fire in the sky because of the force field. That's so badass.
That's pretty cool.
But my question is, why? What was the first plane that went to go check it out? Their strategy. I know they hit the fire barrier and they blow up. But what was the strategy to fly into it?
I don't know, man.
No, they're
that was
close enough
stupid.
to hit the force field, but the force field doesn't project that much further from the ship, so they were just like, fuck it, let's just kamikaze.
I'm just gonna fly into this bad boy.
No one will know.
I don't know, man. They're dumb is the answer.
Well, you know what? Then that hits the 9th trope. Incompetent National Guard.
Ooh, that's true. So I like that this one is like its own subgenre of blockbuster, the disaster movie, you know?
Yeah.
So like while it's an attack, it still is like it feels the same as like a like movie from the same director, Day After Tomorrow, or like a volcano or earthquake movie. Like it feels that same way.
Yeah. Yes.
Good answer.
I don't. Yeah, that is correct. You've chosen wisely.
So I feel like Randy Quaid's two sons are supposed to be Johnny Depp and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and they just couldn't get them. They got their stand-ins.
Oh man, talk about a noteworthy extended edition thing. One of the parts was about the younger kid's medicine and how the older kid isn't his real son.
Oh, really?
Because Dad, you just married my mom. I recommend you buy the extended edition to watch that part because the acting is so bad on the older part.
He's bad.
That you're like, you should never, ever, ever act again besides when you come back in the movie Go, which we're going to review here soon.
But so, there is like when he's chasing him down on the motorcycle, trying to yell at him that he's like dust in the wrong field. He is like calling him by his name, and you think it's just one of those things where he like doesn't respect his dad, so he doesn't call him dad. One of those kind of things. But like, it makes more sense that it's like, oh, that's your stepdad, and your mom's dead now, and like, okay, that makes more sense. But also, you're an adult, so
There's an underlying plot where the kid's sick and he has to get medicine, and like when they get to Area 51, like they have to like revive him, kind of thing, because he's dying or whatever.
Oh, is that where like he barfs?
Yeah, it's not necessary, but you're like whatever. Like so the whole time the younger kid is sick in his overalls.
Okay.
But once again, this doesn't really matter. But whatever.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like, oh, he's sick because of the aliens are contagious and something like that.
It's unrelated. He just happens to also be sick.
Really sick. So he smashes his cough syrup bottle, and the older brother comes up, and it's so bad. And he goes, "Do you remember what it's like not having your medicine? Do you want to get sick again? Do you?" Like, it's so bad. And I hope I'm the only one that saw it, because the whole time after that, I'm looking at that actor, and I go, "Oh, I hope you don't speak again." That was really hard to watch. Like, I wish someone would have cut. I could see why they cut it out, but they should have burned it too.
It sucked.
But that's why he doesn't get much lines later. Like even at the end, he's like the guy's like, "Your father was a great man," but he doesn't speak. And
he's like, "You should be proud of him," and he goes, "I am." He sounds like Keanu almost, like a worse Keanu.
Yeah. Like he's like, well, English is a second language, but it's from when he was born, kind of thing. Like that's not really an excuse. So you know what I would do though while this was all going on, if I did know about it?
No,
I would have just pretended to be the vice president because we never see him. I don't think anyone knows who he is. They just refer to him as the vice president.
He's dead.
I would just eventually. Spoiler.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So he dies off screen and lives off screen.
Yeah, there you go.
So like I would just pretend to be him. I'm like, I'm the vice president. Take me to a crater somewhere where I'm safe.
Yeah. Take me to a crater where I'm safe.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean, like a cave. But I mean, you know what I mean, like a bunker.
I think it's wild that like the president's wife dies. She shows up, they get her there, and the doctor's just like, I don't know what to do. Sorry.
Holy shit.
You're like, what?
I'm sorry. There is smoke coming in my fucking house. Hang on.
Jesus.
You keep talking. I got to go check, make sure my house is on fire. Hang on. Keep going. Oh, my God.
We got a burning house.
Oh, we're getting pelted by the smoke. It's just blasting directly into the wall.
Nice.
And if you've ever seen a country building, they're not really sealed that well.
So
the smoke is coming into the house.
So,
okay, go on.
Would you
Go on.
say
I
that your
wasn't sure how-
father-in-law is like a big bad wolf type, and you're one of the little pigs?
He's huffing and puffing up there. Oh
Will
my
you-
God! Like, it's crazy. I'm looking out the window and it's just smoke. I think the aliens are here. Like,
Will you get a brick Amish cabin next time?
I have to. The only place I'll be safe with my other two fat ass brothers.
I love the situation you're in. And I also love that, like, if you had been busy with work all day, this shit would have just gone down and you would have come home and been like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I would have never known. I'm telling you, it's like, I don't bring this shit to the episodes. It's like, the world brings shit to me to tell you guys.
Yeah.
Literally, as we're about to record, the fucking, my house is on fire kind of shit. Like, okay, hang on, just give me a second. I gotta make sure that it all doesn't burn down and we'll start the episode. Okay.
Oh, boy.
I'm not gonna lie. It's enough that I'm like, it's getting bad. Like, after the episode, I'm going to have to go out and, like, fucking bring a tank of water or some shit.
You have to drive out to Walmart.
And what? And tell everyone so they can all fucking critique the situation. Like, yeah, my brother, he set his woods on fire. You know what it is out here? It's just an abundance of stories of things that are kind of related. That's all. There's no help that's going to come. There's no helping.
No.
It's just stories are going to come.
And why would you even look for it is what I want to know. Who needs it?
I'm sorry. It threw me off a little bit.
Independence Day.
See, I have a note that I don't even know what this is. It says slingshot Doritos at the spaceship.
That's a very 90s solution. Like the 3D Doritos?
I have no fucking idea what that note was. Or why. But yeah, I mean, clearly it would be the 3D because those are the most popular.
So do you think Randy Quaid really was abducted?
Though? What's that?
Do you think Randy Quaid really was abducted?
Oh, in real life, yeah, that's how they got him.
No,
that's how this movie's formed.
I meant the character.
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. I think they based the movie off him as a person.
He met with Roland Emmerich to talk about like a different movie, and he was telling him about how he got abducted, and he was like, maybe if it was on July 4th.
Yeah, good. You know what? On a serious note, you fucking love Bill Pullman's character because he's a compassionate president.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like what would happen in real life. He's in Air Force One holding his head going, a lot of people died today. He goes, a lot of people didn't have to. Where the full weight of his decision is sitting on his shoulders where he's like,
I should have evacuated.
The Gulf War. What's that?
Like, he should have evacuated. He could have done more. He could have saved these people. Like, yeah.
But he was trying not to create panic because he didn't know.
Yeah, of course.
And that's why it's like the his secretary or whatever the fuck he is. He's like, yeah, if we would have known they were hostile, we would have fucking evacuated. That's why he's like, I didn't know what decision to make, and that's why they make him the bad guy in this, or the villain besides the alien.
I mean, he is the.
But you're like, no, because you feel for him, and then we will get into the speech later. But yeah, you feel for Bill Pullman's character, like he's trying to do the right thing, and he's like, it's not always so direct on what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, and that's the weight of The Office, is that he has to make those calls and carry with him, the consequences of his decisions, which he really portrays really well for this like over the top cheesy action movie. He does a really good job.
Yeah, but once again, you feel for each character. Like when people die, it feels heavy. It's not just CGI artificial. I didn't care about them. Like, there's depth to each one. There's reason behind each. Like even like the goofy Will Smith's goofy partner or whatever. I'm blanking on his name because I didn't write it down. Like when he dies, even though he's a silly character, like he's making these jokes. Then when he first sees the spaceship, you hear him go, "Good God!" And it's impactful. So when he dies, or Jimmy, when he dies, you're just like, "Oh man, that's so fucking sad for Will Smith," because it's so personal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good movie. I like it.
Yeah, it's just how it's written and how it's produced versus movies nowadays, where it just doesn't. You don't feel the impact.
No, and I think part of it is that like movies today have like learned from Independence Day and have become more formulaic based on, and you can kind of see the fingerprints of past movies on them, or like it's just going too much by like, hey, this is the structure that we use for this instead of I don't know.
One last question before I think we should move into the tropes.
Yeah.
Is if you and you can't say cat. If you had to build a mechanical suit, what would yours look like? Because I was like, why do they? I mean, like tentacles make sense. Like there's a lot of arms, but I don't understand their skinny ass legs. Like the alien suit's kind of goofy looking. So what would yours look like?
Mine would look like. So I think the way that these suits look is like they look like a armory kind of version of the aliens. Obviously bigger.
It's like an alien with 3 horsepower.
Yeah, it would probably be like a gorilla or something. Like something that has like a similar body structure. But yeah, definitely tentacles. Extra tentacles.
I'm not going to lie, the tentacles were a good addition because
they're useful.
So distracting. But they were like shooting behind him, almost like propelling him.
Yeah,
that's what gave them the speed.
They got a lot of
different.
They're like
shooting ink out.
They got a lot of different purposes. Yeah, that's pretty good. What would you go with?
I would have like a Wizard of Oz tree. You know the trees that throw the apples.
Oh yeah.
I would be like that because at any point you could just stop and be like, oh, that's just a tree. It's not causing any harm. Like, it would be like incognito. Then I'd be like, you say my apples aren't what ought to be eaten, and then throw apples at people.
Yeah.
Or aliens because I'm invading them. This tree over here.
In the Wizard of Oz book, so I read this book to my son when he was little, like the first one. There's trees that have lunch boxes on them.
Yeah. Because they all have their food.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be that because then that would cause, if I was a tree with lunchboxes, people would keep coming up to me. You got to be more.
Yeah, for their lunch.
Yeah, because when you look at an apple tree, you're like, oh, that's really good. I mean, it's good that it's there. I'm not going to go cut it down.
Probably grab an apple.
It might have worms in those apples, and then I'd be like, there's worms in my apples, and I'd start throwing the apples. Basically, it's me coming alive when I feel like it, when someone's insulting me, which is kind of what I do now.
Yeah. You are kind of like a tree from the Wizard of Oz. That's how I think of you.
And you're like the other tree, the hype guy tree. That's what my wife says that she would be. She'd be like, I used to be your hype guy. You'd be like, you don't like my apples? She was hungry. Like in the background. Yeah.
Your wife is your perfect like hype guy.
Yeah.
She's just
there to back
pumps you up too much.
She does. It's great. It's really exciting.
So I think that this movie has the best version of the Brody Hooper Quint dynamic, So
yeah.
Pullman is Brody, Goldblum is Hooper, and Will Smith is Quint. Unless you want to go down like a crazier route and then Randy Quaid is Quint, but like it really works out because it's like the guy in authority who has to take responsibility for everything. That's Brody or the president. Then he brings in the scientist, Jeff Goldblum, Hooper. And then they get the guy who's like, let's go get this thing, and that's either Randy Quaid flying up the alien ship butthole or, Will Smith taking him out in.
I agree that it is, they have to form the team. So yeah, they're all assembled.
Yeah, like the Avengers.
Yeah.
Or a Lego set.
Like the shitty Avengers, where one's a drunk. Well, I said just the Avengers.
Quilt? You mean Quilt?
Yeah, Quilt. Talk about Quilt. So the first one, the Maya, that's the assistant. Hands down, that's the fucking assistant.
He's not the assistant. He's the Secretary of Defense, but I agree.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I agree absolutely. Number 2.
There are some parts where, like, what he's saying makes sense at a glance, but then you're just like, no, you just suck, bro.
Well, yeah, because he's still trying to, like, it's almost like, even though he's the Secretary of Defense and should be focused on the military aspects and that type of thing, you know, like, he almost focuses more on the politics of it, you know, like, it's like he should be the president's chief of staff or something, the way that he focuses so much on politics instead of, like, military, you know, like, he should be the guy saying, let's attack now, let's do this, let's go. But he is just that, you know, sniveling worm.
I do like how they kind of get it out the way about the nukes, because let's just nuke them. And then it shows his position about how inexperienced he is, because David comes in and he's like, no, there'll be nuclear fallout, and then we'll all launch, and then we'll die anyway. So, yes, that might win, but we'll all die, so you can't just rush that. That's why it's so impactful when the presidents later on, like, nuke them, because fuck it, we're going to die, we got to take our chances.
Yeah.
So I do like that setup. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes what he's saying makes sense, and there's a purpose for it, but it definitely exposes him as naive. Once again, I just think the characters and the plot are written very well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, number 2, iconic song music. I said no.
I'm crutching this one and saying "End of the World" by REM, because I always think of this movie. But I mean, really, no, not from what we're asking. But I did want to talk about "End of the World" because you can't not think of this movie.
Yeah, that's a great song. And yeah, no, because when I like evaluate this trope, I think, like, if I heard this song or if I heard this music, the score, whatever, if I heard this, would I think of, oh, it's Independence Day? And I wouldn't.
If I heard that ambient aliens approaching spaceship music, I'd go, that's from Independence Day.
I
wouldn't put it in a top 20 list.
Yeah. All right, number 3. Do we have a Jackoff's gun?
Yeah, Checkmate.
Checkmate. That's good. There's a couple in this. There's the cigars. There's there's a couple setups that, like, they pay off really well.
Well, I forgot that, and I can't remember if it's Checkmate said 3 times, but early on when he's playing chess with his dad, it's Checkmate.
Yep.
And then pretty early in the movie where he goes, what happens when the countdown's over? And he goes, Checkmate. I'm like, oh, that's it.
Yeah, and then there's also the Randy Quaid setting up that he got abducted by aliens and wants to get revenge or whatever, and then, like, gets to redeem that. Like, you don't think that's going to come back into play, and then it does, and it, you know, in a really iconic scene of him saying, you know, I'm back, which is, like, insanely goofy, but still works somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, they went for, that's the only thing I'll kind of agree with Kristen and be like, okay, listen, like, that character, I know he's supposed to be comic relief, but we don't really need him. Like, it's way over.
Well, but he gets his redemption, and that saves the day in the end, you know?
He didn't need to play that fucking goofy.
He didn't need to be
Cousin Eddie flying the plane.
That's exactly right. All right, number 4, existential threat. Yes, of course. The aliens are going to wipe out the whole planet. Like, yeah. Number 5, tiger shark, misdirect early on. I said no. I don't have a misdirect.
No. I really felt like there could have been one, and I just couldn't think of anything that was, I didn't get one.
Yeah.
It seems like there is a tiger shark in this movie, but when you break it down, you're like, no, not really. I mean, like, I guess maybe the nuke, but no.
Is the misdirect the stripper friend thinking they're going to be friendly and then everyone getting fucking roasted?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't
like,
know, not really.
It's nothing with any weight.
Because there's no instance where I think, well, maybe they are friendly. Like, even, you know, having seen this movie a million times, like, there's no instance where I think maybe they're friendly aliens.
Yeah, the part where I know that Will Smith is just trying to comfort his girlfriend, but he goes, I don't think they flew 3 billion light years just to start a fight, and you're like, no, absolutely, that's why you would fly 3 billion.
They're just zipping around to planets and draining them of resources.
Yeah, that's 100% what they're doing.
So number 6, Hooper. Yeah, of course, there's a Hooper. It's Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
He was great in this movie. He's so good.
Yeah. Catchphrase, fucking hell yeah. Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth. And there's a lot of, like, memorable, catchy lines in it, too. You know, not just the Welcome to Earth, but that's the one.
I mean, I love Time's Up.
Time's Up is good.
On the counter, I'm like, that's so fun. That was my first one where I was like, oh, wait, no, it's Welcome to Earth. But I love that after Welcome to Earth, he says, that's what I call a close encounter. Because you kind of think that, is that the line and he just improv Welcome to Earth? And then he sat down and went, oh, fuck, I was supposed to say this. So he just adds it to the scene.
Yeah. And I like the two scenes in the desert hauling, you know, like the first one where like Will Smith is hauling the fucking alien with him, and then the one of him and Jeff Goldblum with the cigars. It's great.
Oh, the whole thing, I was laughing out loud when Will Smith goes and gets the paper and he thinks it's an earthquake and everyone's moving out because of an earthquake. Yeah. And they do the rack focus over his shoulder of all the people getting ready, and then he turns his head slowly, and everyone's getting ready on the other side.
Yeah, it's
and then
good.
He slowly looks up. I love that scene so much.
Yeah.
It's because it's over the top, but it works perfectly with the movie.
It really
the only thing that I dislike is right after they give her such a bullshit line for coming outside and witnessing the aliens. She goes, do you want any of this coffee? She's not holding the coffee pot. She's holding his cup of coffee.
Or just wait until he comes back in and ask him. Like, you don't need to come out to... Or is she going to throw away the fucking coffee?
Walk outside and do the thing where she's dumping the coffee out, like not paying attention because she's so traumatized. Like, you didn't even need a line. That line threw off the field. Want any of this coffee from your cup? Like, yeah, like clearly. Or, you couldn't have, like you had to rush out to ask him if you wanted that cup of coffee.
Or you do the thing where, like, he went out to get the paper and he's been out there for like 5 minutes and you come out like, what are you doing? And then you see, like, oh shit, it's this.
Yeah, what is it, baby?
I don't need the voice.
Fox isn't great.
I don't need the Vivica Fox voice. That's not doing it for me.
He comes out, David, you got the coffee.
I love the president's speech. That's our USS.
Yeah, that's the Indianapolis.
That's the scene that elevates this fucking movie, and it's like an impromptu speech. It's not written. He gets out there, and I mean, I'm sure he has an idea of what he wants to say, kind of, but like, man, like it inspires everybody, and it like, yeah, that's the scene in the movie.
You can't watch that scene without getting goosebumps.
No, you get chills.
No matter how many times you're like, this is fucking epic.
Yeah, and
the music
great.
Slowly building up behind him.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh,
I'm trying to think. Like, is there another speech in the movie that makes that once again gives you goosebumps like that? That you're just like, fuck yeah. Like, like a motivational.
In like the hyped way, I don't think so. There's definitely like and this is a movie that you hate, but there's definitely like the scene from Interstellar where Michael Caine is like sending a message out to the spaceship, with McConaughey on it, and he's doing the "Do not go gentle into that good night." That always kind of gets me, but like, it doesn't hype you up, but like It is funny because it's funny that you mentioned Nolan, because I was going to say the closest thing is kind of like when Bane talks in Dark Knight Rises. Like a lot of his speeches have that feel. Yeah. Like when he's talking about bringing down Gotham. When he's doing his Adam Sandler impression, Gotham is yours. But like that, and also I want to say this part. I thought it really like, undercut it when he said "shabba-dee-doo."
Shabba-dee-doo. But yeah, The Prestige has some moments like that too. So yeah, just Nolan movies.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's such a great scene. So I got 6 out of 8 here. What do you got?
I got 7 out of 9 because of the National Guard.
Okay, I got 7 out of 9.
That drives into the spaceship.
Yeah, that's fair. What do you think about that helicopter that they put the lights on? And they're like, this'll work. We'll go up there and flash it.
What did you... Like, cause I get it. I guess if they flash shit back, then that means they're trying to communicate, maybe, but like, no.
Right. It's like, I don't... Okay.
Yeah, God, and when the alien ships come out of it, when they're like, fuck it, we're just going to they destroy our city, we're just going to go fuck these guys up. And they're like, oh, yeah, we have infantry too. Like, fuck it. Like, we just, they sent all their spaceships out. Like, yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Because it's just every time the, civilization goes to attack them, they're like, yeah, we're just going to destroy you. We have that too, but better. Because after the nuke, you're like, Jesus, what do we do? Like,
yeah, that's our biggest weapon, and yeah, that's what we have. Like, if that didn't work, then like, what hope do we possibly have against them? It's like there's nothing. That's the thing that like completely drains you of all like. Well, I thought we could do something here, but I guess not.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is like they're not holding their cards because they're using a big. The aliens using a big explosive device like early on, their big laser thing. But as they come out, the aliens are like, just wait for us to attack, and then they send their ships, and they're like, oh, also we're just going to blow up NORAD. You know what I'm saying? Like they're patient, like that, and so it's such an intense, rival to fight.
Yeah,
and it's like, we could have done all this right away. We're actually just waiting it out. We actually had bigger plans.
Well, and it's not it's not just we see your big cities and know that instinctively that's where we should blow up, but they go to the most important buildings. They go to the White House, they go to the installations where it's like they have some sort of intel,
Yeah. It's just slow and methodical. That's why you're like, God damn, this sucks.
Should we watch the sequel? I never saw the sequel. It looked terrible.
It's just fine. It doesn't like you're like, yeah. I mean, it fits the characters. It's not.
Okay. If I can find it somewhere for free, I might watch it. I'm not going to pay to watch it. That's where I'm.
It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I recommend watching it once because I've seen it once, and the whole time you're like, I mean, yeah, it's not Independence Day. It's in the world of Independence Day.
Did they make the third one? Because when they made the sequel, they were like, we're making 2 and 3 now. Like, we're making them. But, like, I don't remember ever hearing about the third one being done.
No, I mean, not that I'm aware of. But it's more like, oh, if you like this about Independence Day, we did it again, but bigger. And you're like, you're going the wrong way.
Like that's not what worked.
All you're doing is more destruction and different ways of destruction. But you're like, I don't care. You don't give a fuck about the characters.
Yeah.
It's not believable. They bring the old characters back, and like the president and the guy that got mind warped, the scientist, they now have telekinetic powers, and you're like, no, stop, you're doing this wrong. I'm like this is a first draft that should have been like stomped out. Like, no, don't actually. You know what I'm saying? Like we could add this aspect to the movie, and you're like, yeah, but I don't.
Yeah, but don't.
No one told them not to.
So instead of making it more interesting, they just made it more. That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's a bunch of hats.
So I shouldn't watch it. All right, good.
No, I think you should watch it once. It'd be sad that Will Smith is not in it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird. I think if Will Smith is in it...
He was filming something else.
Yeah. Probably After Earth.
I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, timing-wise, that makes sense.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well,
anyway, I don't know if you know this, but I like this movie.
Yeah, same. Next week, we're going to do a very different movie, but equally, actually, I think significantly more iconic.
Yep.
So next week, we're going to be talking about Titanic, which might still be in theaters. If I'm not sure when that run ends, but it's like back in theaters right now. So
nice.
I might go watch it in the theater for this.
You know who fucking loves Titanic, surprisingly enough?
You?
My son.
Oh, dude, Titanic rules.
Don't even know why.
Is it the boobs?
No, he's got a phone. He can see all the boobs he wants.
That's fair. That's a fair point.
I don't check his phone enough to make sure he's not looking at boobs.
Yeah. And by the way, if he's just looking at boobs, that's fine. It's fine.
Cares? No one cares. I mean, we all care. We desperately want to see boobs, but
yeah, we care in that way.
Yeah, I mean, don't ever not show me, but
yeah,
it's whatever.
All right, cool. Well, so that's next week. And I guess that's it for the show. Thanks for listening this week. And tell all your friends about us. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you like what we do, you can rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us online at KeystoneCopycats.com. We're at Keystone Copycat. We're at Keystone Copycats on Instagram and Facebook. If you got something to say, you can email us at KeystoneCopycats@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 513-239-7682. I think that does it. Till next time, I'm going to be Zach, and he's going to be...
Please.
Yeah.
Bye.